Hello, and welcome to The Porch with Alicia Barlow. Hi, I'm Alicia Barlow, author of The Porch, a place for enjoyment, conversation with people, reflection, and encouragement. Hello, everybody. This is Alicia. I am here with Claudette Robertson. Miss Robertson is the owner of Deer Clan Books, and she has an event coming up on Friday, July 28th, and I'm going to let her talk about that in just a little bit. But as always, on The Porch, I say, I kind of like to know who a person is. I like for them to kind of talk about themselves because that's what you do on the porch. You get to know people. You get to know who you are talking to when you're on the porch and have that conversation. So I always like for a person to just kind of tell us about themselves. And so I'm going to ask Miss Claudette, just kind of give us a little bit of information about who you are and, what do you like to do and, what's going on.
Okay, well, thank you, Alicia, for having me here today. I've been looking forward to it, and I think it'll be interesting to learn about different things going on with you and me and Deer Clan Books. So my family are Muskogee Creek and came here during the Indian removal period. So my family goes clear back to 1833 here in Oklahoma. But I was born and raised in California, where my parents had migrated to during the Dust Bowl era. And I came back here to Oklahoma in 1993. I felt like I was coming home. I had always felt kind of like I didn't really belong anywhere. But when I came back to Oklahoma, I always said I came back.
Okay, because I was going to ask, were you born here in Oklahoma?
No, I was born in California.
You was born in California, okay.
And raised there and did all my schooling there, university. My master's at Humboldt State University there. When I came to Oklahoma, I was intending to get my doctorate. Things didn't work out. And so I went all the way through and just never did really finish my dissertation. But I've been in Oklahoma since 1993. And I taught at OCCC, Oklahoma City Community College, for 17 years as an adjunct professor of history. I spent a number of years as a substitute teacher in the Oklahoma City district until I was hired full-time and went and taught in the Oklahoma City district for about 9 or 10 years as a social studies teacher. So I've had several professions. I spent, since 1991, I've been reviewing grants for the federal agencies and writing grants for different nonprofits, tribes. And that kind
so
of thing.
You're a grant writer.
Yeah,
I just had someone on here during a previous podcast and who is probably needing someone to help them with some grant writing. So I'm going to have to make sure, keep a note of that.
Yeah, you can share my name. Yeah, and I started that in 1991, and over the years I've been in and out of doing that. And right now I'm writing a grant for a client in the solar industry. So anyway, I retired from education about 2 years ago. The year of the pandemic. Now we say the year of the pandemic. Yeah, the year of the pandemic hit. I looked at what was going on and I thought, you know what? They sent us home to teach from home, but I don't really like sitting in my recliner every day, looking at my computer, working that way.
Yeah. What grade were you teaching at the time?
Well, I taught mostly high school, and some of the classes I taught financial literacy, American government. I also taught at a couple of other community colleges in Oklahoma, College of the Muskogee Nation, Northern Oklahoma College, different ones over the years. But they sent us home, and I really didn't like all that free time I had at home, even though I was working. You can get up and go get a cup of coffee, and you don't have to worry about leaving your students. So anyway, I thought, you know what? I said, God, I don't want to retire to my recliner. I don't want to trade my office chair for a recliner. That's just not me. I've been working since I was 12 years old for other people to make money. Before that, working for my mom, cleaning house, my stepdad, painting fences, herding the sheep up these mountain hills and all kinds of stuff. But so I just was saying, I don't want to do that. And I've been wanting to open a bookstore for about 15 years.
Why a bookstore?
Well, that's kind of a long story. I'll make it short. Okay. I was about I would have been about 8 years old. I was in the 3rd grade. I walked outside my elementary school in Northern California, way out in the hills, in the mountains. And I looked across the road and I saw this box on wheels. And I went over there and I walked up the little stairs into the little box and turns out it was a bookmobile. And so I started reading Zane Grey books, Westerns. And I think it was Hans Christian Andersen, children's fairy tales. And I started reading for entertainment. It was like I could never be bored again as long as I had a book. And so I loved books. And I was joking with a friend of mine. I said, I think I might have a spirit of greed. I want all these books. I don't want to, let go of any of my books. But we were laughing. And so about 15 years now, 17, 18 years now, I started looking around and I would drive by these little strip malls and I'd say, now, would that be a good place for a bookstore? And so I started planning and I started collecting books for my bookstore. So when I opened during the pandemic, and I think I might have been a little bit crazy to open during that time, but I put my own personal resources into that bookstore for the last 3 years. And it was what I wanted to do. And I really like that it's become a part of the community. I love I've got 87 Oklahoma authors on my shelves now. You're one of them. The Porch book is a very interesting book. And I'm waiting for you to come to my house and see my new porch that I've remodeled. And
we'll have to have a cup of tea. I'll bring some tea, and we can maybe drink some tea and have some more conversation on your porch.
Okay, don't forget the crumpets.
Okay,
tea and crumpets. So I opened the bookstore and I just started letting people know. I looked around Oklahoma, and there aren't that many independent booksellers. A lot of people order from what some of my colleagues call the evil A, and and then there's Barnes and Nobles here in the city, but Half Price Books. Those are not independent booksellers; those are mega booksellers, So the independent booksellers will often carry Oklahoma authors, but they only do a couple at a time, or they might just have them infrequently, but they don't really showcase them. And but I like to showcase them. I promote them by I've got an email address list of over 1,000. I send out emails, newsletters. I put ads in the Oklahoma Gazette, the Sunday Oklahoman, in the book notes page, post flyers on the windows, Facebook, several different Facebook pages all over the place. I'm telling about Oklahoma authors.
Okay. So you're talking about this. So you have something that's coming up on Friday, which is this Friday, July 28th, regarding Dear Clan Books and the Oklahoma authors. And so what is this event that you're going to have coming up? But before you answer that, Dear Clan Books, I want to know, how did you come up with the name of Dear Clan Books? What does that mean?
Well, as I said, my family moved here in 1833. My ancestor was a government doctor, and he married into the Creek Nation. Okay. And so over a couple of generations then, my great-great-grandfather was born here, was one of the first Creek children born here in Indian Territory. And his name was William R. Robertson. So my mother's maiden name, my mother's family is Robertson. My dad's family is Robertson. So on the Robertson side, my great-great-granddad became a member of the House of Warriors in Creek Nation. And in Creek Nation, in the Muskogee Nation, we have different clans. Clans are like families, extended families. So there are 13 in existence now, I believe, And each of those are named after something natural, like wind or beaver or deer. So our family are the Deer Clan. And there's a cultural thing where if you meet someone, like I'm a single woman, if I met a man a Creek man who was in the Deer Clan, I would not be able to marry him because by tradition, we're extended families.
So even if you're not blood related, if you're in this clan family relationship, it's treated as though you're blood related.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's taboo. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow.
So I wanted to do something for my family. Okay. I have a whole bunch of cousins. My mother had 9 brothers and sisters. And so there were 10 of them, and then all their kids. So that's a lot of people. And now they all have kids and grandkids.
And do you have any children?
I have 2 sons. Okay. One is an artist, John Moore. He's here in Oklahoma City area, the metro area. I have some of his work in the bookstore. Okay. He's an excellent animal artist. He does excellent work with the animals. And then I have another son who's a physical therapist. He has his own clinic, and he's in Northern California.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Wow.
And one of the main things, I was the first person out of my family to get a college degree. Okay. My mother did not finish high school. My dad, I think he finished high school, but he went military right away. Okay. So my son was the second one probably to get a master's degree out of our family. And opened his own clinic. He actually has a doctorate now. Okay. And so education was very important to me, always, especially after having been introduced to books. Yes. So if you got a book, I used to tease, well, I'll get rid of my husband before I get rid of my books, But laughter is a good medicine.
Yeah, and that's another story, right?
Yeah. And education is very important. So when I opened the bookstore, I had thought for years, well, what do I want to call my bookstore once I open it? I went through, Robertson's Books, Robertson's Library, Robertson this, that, and the other thing. And then I finally said, wait a minute, I want to do something to honor my family. And so I came up with Deer Clan Books. Some people said, well, that might chase other people off. They might think it's only for some, cultural thing. And I said, well, this is what I want to call it, and I'm going to stick with it, and it's unique.
And someone, I'm glad that you explained it, and explained what that name comes from, and because I can see, as a Black person, maybe Deer Clan. Well, what does she mean by clan? And that's probably what they were,
Well, I didn't think about that ahead of time. I might have changed because immediately when I went on Facebook to announce, then there's some Karens who came out and said, oh, the Klan. And so I said, hold on, people. I'm just trying to make a living and pay the bills. It's not K, it's a C.
Good. So Friday, what anniversary is this?
This is our 3rd anniversary. I opened the store July 13th in 2020. So this is our 3rd year anniversary. We're celebrating that, and I now have 87 Oklahoma authors. I just got like 10 more in the last 2 weeks. Oh, wow. People heard about this, and they just started coming in,
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
So on Friday night, I'm really excited about it. On Friday night, I have 20 to 25, I think I'm going to have 25 Oklahoma authors come, and they'll each have their own station set up where they have their books and their swag, whatever, will fit on a table the size of a TV tray in order to get all 25 in. Okay. Some will be sharing a larger table. But people are real excited about it. I had them send me, if you're bringing more books in, add additional inventory, send me that inventory list by deadline. And so they did, and it's been something. communicating with all of these Oklahoma authors, and they probably all write much better than I do. So
I'm sure you are a great writer.
So my emails may have been a little bit confusing to start with, but everything got worked out.
All right, great. Yeah. So what kind of genre do you carry in your store, and what can people expect in regards to the authors that will be there? What type is there? A diverse population of authors?
Yeah, I have. Well, breaking it down into categories by race, I have Black authors, and American Indian authors, and Asian authors, and Caucasian authors. So I carry any nationality, any race. I'm not restricted to anything. And I have a lot of my authors are very much, a lot of them are Christians, and so they'll write stories that might have some sort of faith-based theme. And then I have some who like to write books about dogs. I had a lady last week come in from Stillwater. She brought in 5 different titles of her books, and they're all about dogs. Okay. And I'm telling you, people in Bethany area love their animals. Yes. And you can go on any of those Facebook pages, and there's one that's always, I saw this sweet little thing on the corner, and this mean dog over here, and it just, they're all about animals. So I do have one lady who is legally blind, and she wrote a book called Aslan, and it's about a dog. And she hasn't done a book signing, but she has had her books in my store. And so people love their animals, and they'll write about their animals. I have a couple of men who have a law enforcement background, and they've written some crime drama books. Okay. One of them, Richard Mullins and Dan Brown, both have written about crime in Oklahoma. And so they have their books there. And then I have an attorney who has written some crime noir. Noir? Is that the right way to say Noir? Crime, from like the 1930s, fiction. And had a guy that worked at one of the state prisons, wrote a book about, it's called Flashpoint. And I think it's a book about some military spy type book. So I have those. And then there's your book, The Porch, is about, life on a porch. And to me, being raised in the country, porches were, part of. If you don't have a porch on your house is weird. So, and then I have Doodle and Peck Publishers out of Yukon, and I maintain an entire section for Doodle and Peck because she's got a whole bunch of children's books. Okay. And I have several authors who write children's books. And so then on the first and third Saturday of the month, we've been having story time. And I have 2 or 3 of those authors who come and read to children on Saturday mornings at 11 a.m., the first and third Saturdays. And so, and what I see people coming in the store, if they come in with kids, they don't really look around at other areas. They don't look at fiction or the domestic or the religious or the inspirational sections. They just look at the children's books. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And you have a activity or events for children, like on the weekends where there's just particular readings for children. Okay. Do you still have that?
That's the first and third Saturday story time. Okay. And when I first opened the store, I was still working at one of the local high schools, and I did a contest, and I said, whoever comes up with a name for my children's area will get a gift certificate. So one of the teachers came up with the name Imagination Station. So our children's area is called Imagination Station. And it's so funny, whenever anybody comes in with small children, I show them, I say, well, the children's area is over there. So the mom and the dads, they look at books while the kids are in the children's area, and never fails. The first thing the kids do is start moving the chairs around. And it's so funny to watch because there are books in that area that they can get and look at, and they do that too. But the main thing they do is move the chairs around.
They got to make it fit for them.
Well, and it's just the chairs are their size. They're small chairs. And so they'll move them around. Even the little 2-year-olds will move the chairs around. It's funny to watch.
That's great. So you have that area for the children, but then you also have space in there for outside events or events that people might want to hold for themselves.
Right. I have an event room that I rent out. I have one organization that meets there every month. I would like to get more. I would like to have a steady stream of people, maybe a book club meeting there every month, or a writer's club, or any kind of organization that needs a space on a regular basis. I would like to have that. That hasn't worked out too well so far, but there are times when I don't promote it. So, that it's a nice area. I think I have close to 40 chairs and 4 6-foot tables. And then I have a television, 50-inch, 53-inch television monitor for Wi-Fi hookup for like presentations. If anybody wants to rent the space and give presentations, it's a very practical. It's not fancy. It's very practical and user friendly, I should say. Yeah.
All right, sounds great. So you're having this event, and you've got this space, and you're going to have all these authors there. I actually talked to some of the authors that will be there, and one being Maurice, who assisted me in promoting, or actually editing and publishing my books with self-published, self-made publishing. Yes, he's a great guy, and I've spoken with some other authors that I know that will be there. So I'm looking forward to the event. Where is it? Where is your bookstore?
Oh, okay, right.
You mentioned Bethany, but where in Bethany is it?
Okay, so it's 3905 North College in Bethany, 73008. And Southern Nazarene University is not even a full block away on North College. North College ends at Route 66 or Northwest 39th Expressway. And then across the street is SNU campus. So there's no through street there. On the corner is the Bethany Post Office. Right next to me is a place called The Cove. On the other side of me is Hello Nutrition. Across the street is Sophisticates. And there's a lot of parking. It doesn't look like it because that's a narrow, small street. But in back of the store, there's a huge parking lot. Okay. Across the street, there's a small parking lot, but it will hold like 10, 15 cars. And then there's street parking all around. And then on the other side of Sophisticates, there's a parking lot. And so by the time Bethany shuts down at 5 o'clock, there's still a whole ton of parking for people who come to my events.
Okay. So the address is on North College Avenue, 39th Street. And what time is it starting?
It's on, it starts at 6. It'll go from 6 to 8. We will have refreshments. I'm ordering the cake today. And so it's a potluck finger food. No casseroles, no salads, just food you can eat with your hands, like sandwiches, cheese, olives with, toothpicks and that kind of thing. Although I will have plastic forks, just for those who insist on eating their sandwich with a fork.
Okay. All right. So this is the 3rd year of your bookstore. It will be on Friday at 6 o'clock.
July 28th.
And the address again is 3905 North College Avenue. And that is in Bethany, Oklahoma. If someone needs to call you, what is your phone number?
Right. Phone number 405-495-9005. That's Deer Clan Books. And if I'm not there, I do have an answering machine. We are open we are closed Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday. I was open for a long time on Wednesdays, but it just seemed like nobody came around. So it was just, and I'm supposed to be retired. I'm supposed to be retired. So I said, wait a minute, I'm retired. I can take a third day off.
Enjoy your Wednesday.
But it's like I said, I've been working all my life, and so it's hard just to shut down.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure you find things to do on Wednesdays, and you're still busy.
Yeah. Yes. Oh yeah. What I really like as a retired person is being able to sleep a little bit later, because at the high school level you have to be there at 7:10, no later than 7:10. The schools in Oklahoma City now have time clocks. So all of these professional teachers have to clock in. And some people like it, some people don't. It doesn't matter. They are doing it. And if you clock in at 7:11 instead of 7:10 or before 7:10, they've got an administrator who is sending you emails and telling you you're late.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Well, sounds like you probably did what was best for you to do. All right. Well, like I said, I am looking forward to this event. Again, on your flyer here that I'm looking at, you say that you have relationships with at least 84 Oklahoma authors. Yeah, and probably more than that.
Well, I printed this, and then 3 more came in.
Okay. All right. And you're going to have at least 25. Right. And as people hear about it, now you did say that you're going to have stations for at least 24, 25 people or authors. But I'm hearing that some authors may show up and they'll just be kind of standing and talking. And
right. Some of them are showing up and they've asked me if they can show, and the deadline has already passed, and I have to think about, how many stations I can put out there. So I told them, well, your books are on the shelf. You can hang around by the shelf if you like. And then there are others who just want to come and circulate. Like, I don't know if you know Dion. What's Dion's last name? I forget her last name. But, she just wants to come and meet the other authors and visit.
Well, great. Well, I hope other authors come. I also hope that just people of the general public will come, and we sure would love to see you and meet you and talk with you and get to know you.
Well, when you open a business, people begin to depend upon you. And it takes a whole community to make a business go.
It does.
One of the things that I had to tell the authors was, your books are in Deer Clan Books. So you need to be telling people they can get your book at my bookstore, not just the other people, not just online. And another thing is that anybody can go to bookshop.org and go up into the right-hand corner and click on my link and order online. And books can be sent directly to their house. So bookshop.org, and then bookshop.org is an organization that was formed to support independent booksellers such as myself. And so they give us credit. They give us a percentage of all the sales. Okay. And so I don't really need a website because I have bookshop.org. People can order directly from there, and my store will get credit.
All right. That's good to know. Well, people out there, if you're in the Oklahoma City area, metro area, Bethany and surrounding area of city of Bethany, please come by on Friday, July 28th at 6 o'clock and meet with some of these Oklahoma authors. We'd love to see you. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening and joining me on the porch. Remember to take time to reflect, share memories, and engage with others on your porch. And I'll meet you here next time on The Porch, your podcast for community conversations. Brought to you by the Possibilities Podcast platform.